defiant Mo Brooks.
But I'd be remiss if I did not congratulate the Alabama Democratic Party for helping to ensure that the Democrat nominee in the Republican primary won.
Right now at 10, full team coverage in reaction to tonight's Republican Senate runoff.
Live and on your side, WBRC Fox 6 News starts with breaking news.
That breaking news, Katie Britt winning the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate.
Winning pretty convincingly. Here are the numbers. Britt again with a big margin tonight, 64% of the votes to 36% of the vote for Mo Brooks, who will now leave Congress in January. He is not running for re-election, of course, in his congressional seat. He went all in the Senate race and tonight will lose the opportunity to become Alabama's junior senator. We've got team coverage of tonight's results from the Britts and Brooks campaign headquarters.
Yeah, we want to go straight to our Lauren Jackson at Britt's event in Montgomery. Lauren.
Yeah, Jonathan, Catherine, the party's winding down now, but it was a full house tonight here in Montgomery for the new nominee, Katie Britt. She just left the stage about an hour ago where she talked to hundreds of voters and supporters, and she really said thank you to everyone. She stood up there with her family and said she really felt like an underdog in the beginning of this election going against Congressman Mo Brooks. She said a lot of people didn't think that she could do it, so getting this nomination for her, she says, is the American dream. Now, she also said in her speech tonight that the reason she got in this race in the first place is because she is a mom. And she says she's doing this for all the other moms out there. She said a lot of people thought she couldn't do this because she was a mom. She also took time tonight to thank all the senators that endorsed her, including Richard Shelby, her former boss. And she did give a big thank you to former President Donald Trump for his endorsement. He gave it to her just earlier this month after taking it away from Mo Brooks. She said that the people of Alabama miss his America First agenda. Now, she said she's hoping to bring new blood and new fresh ideas to the Alabama Senate if she wins that election, the general election in November. And Britt says she went to all of the 67 Alabama counties. She spoke with voters and supporters, and she promises that she will work to get all of those people all the things that they need. Take a listen.
As your next United States Senator, I will work tirelessly to grow 21st century opportunity for all Alabamians, regardless of their zip code. That is what the American dream is all about. I promise you I will work nonstop to defend our values and to defend our people.
Now, Britt told all the supporters here tonight it was really a wild, loud event, loud party, a lot of excitement, but she told everyone that endorsement from former President Donald Trump really sent her over the edge, helped her finish this race off in style. But she says now she's going to work to get all the support of the voters who voted for Mo Brooks. She wants them to vote for her and really show President Joe Biden that this is a red state and something that she wants to send a message in November when she goes against Democratic nominee Will Boyd in the general election. Live tonight here in Montgomery, I'm Lauren Jackson, WBRC Fox 6 News on your side.
All right, Lauren, thanks. And Mo Brooks, obviously upset by the loss, not really holding back tonight.
It was a defiant speech tonight, one unlike most of us have ever heard. Brittany DeYoung got it in person tonight, Brittany.
Yeah, that's right, Jonathan. Mo Brooks had a lot to say tonight, especially about Katie Britt, without saying her name during that concession speech, coming in front of his supporters tonight around 8:15 to say that he did not lose tonight. In fact, he feels like he actually won. But he did say that if Britt clinches the win in November in the general election, that she would be the wrong choice for this state to be sent to D.C. Brooks thanking his supporters tonight, calling them patriots, saying that they did their best for America. But the crowd here also cheered and clapped for Brooks when he talked about Katie Britt as well as Democrats. He also spoke about the media with a lot of sarcasm tonight. He says Britt used millions of dollars to attack him and former opponent Mike Durant with lies. Take a listen.
The Alabama Republican Party lost in a variety of different ways by allowing the Democratic Party to have such influence, not only in this race, but in other races around the state of Alabama. America quite clearly lost.
Now, Brooks refused to speak with us after that speech, saying that he was not giving any interviews. Asked for what's next for him. Again, he says he feels like a winner tonight because now he gets to spend more time with his family. Live in Huntsville, Brittany Dion, WBRC Fox 6 News on your side.
Brittany, thanks so much. So, of course, this race is now settled. It'll be Britt versus Floyd coming up in the fall. Now, on the Secretary of State side, another runoff tonight, and Wes Allen, the state representative, prevails in a pretty convincing margin as well over State Auditor Jim Ziegler, who gives up his seat now, and that nomination goes to Andrew Sorrell with a pretty big margin there, 58-42, where Stan Cook has also run for the office before. Now Sorrell will be the Republican nominee for Secretary of State coming up, Jim Ziegler's old job, in November.
All right, Jonathan, a lot of us hoping for some rain, maybe some cooler temperatures anytime soon. Our Lauren Linehan with our first alert forecast. Hopefully we've got those in the 7-day forecast.
You know, Catherine, it would be nice if we could vote for the weather and just have it turn out the way we wanted it to, but that just ain't happening.
Not how it works.
Yeah, not so much. So instead, we're going to be seeing that heat and humidity cranking up here. Right now, I mean, it could be worse, but it's still warm. 82 right now from Brookwood Baptist Medical Center on our first alert sky vision. You see those clear skies, and it looks like there was a little plane or helicopter right there, and it's gone. But anyway, clear enough to be able to see airplanes, spacecraft, maybe even the planets and the moon if you're lucky. And if you got a good camera, we want to see those moon photos on the WBRC First Alert weather app. As of right now, temperatures in the 70s and 80s across our area. More of us will be in the 70s by tomorrow morning. So starting off with plenty of sunshine, eventually we'll see some of those puffy little cotton ball clouds into the afternoon. But unfortunately, we're also going to see temperatures skyrocketing. We'll let you know about that little measly rain chance coming up in a bit.
All right, Lauren, some new information tonight about law enforcement calls to this home, the home of alleged St. Stephen's Episcopal shooter Robert Finley Smith. This is his home on Sacred Hollard Road. It's in Jefferson County. And the sheriff's office says deputies were called to this home 13 times since 2019. Sheriff's office doesn't identify who called 911 for these calls and couldn't provide each outcome, but we do know they were called for 5 investigative complaints, 3 patrol requests, twice for suspicious vehicles or people, twice for medical calls, and once for criminal mischief. Robert Smith now faces capital murder charges. He is accused of shooting and killing 3 people at St. Stephen's in Vestavia Hills last Thursday night.
Tonight, 2 military veterans from Alabama remain in Russian hands in Ukraine. Alex Druki of Tuscaloosa and Andy Wynn of Morgan County left the U.S. to help train the Ukrainians. The family of Druki says it's very pleased with the American government, working to get more information and details about where they might be.
How we function is that we're being kept informed. We have a contact at the State Department that stays in touch with us. Anytime there's new information that can be shared, they share it. We know there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
The Geneva Convention is a charter, a set of guidelines on how soldiers and civilians should be treated during wartime. Russia claims, though, that the convention does not apply in this case. Druki's family disagrees.
New information tonight on that crash in Chambers County that killed a sheriff's deputy. Authorities say Deputy Jamar Abel was chasing this man, Brandon Rowe, when Abel crashed. Rowe is facing charges of attempting to elude and drug possession. Abel was celebrating his 2nd year on the job. Sheriff Lockhart says he was a hard worker who never complained and says everyone at the department is family, and losing a family member is the hardest part.
It's just a sad day in Chambers County. In my 28 years, I've never had one to die. We just get everyone to keep his family and our employees in the prayers because we're like family.
Abel is the 7th Alabama law officer killed in the line of duty this year.
New tonight, a group of bipartisan senators releasing a gun reform plan. The plan expands background checks for people ages 18 to 21, funding for mental health, and funding for states to implement red flag laws. And it could toughen penalties for illegal straw purchases. Now, it's unclear when a vote could come. And gun legislation coming up after that Texas school shooting. And just out today, this photo showing officers inside Robb Elementary with guns pointed at the classroom where the shooting was happening. The head of the Texas Department of Public Safety saying within 3 minutes of the shooter entering the school, there were enough officers on scene to confront the gunman. Instead, they waited outside the classroom for 77 minutes.
There's compelling evidence that the law enforcement response to the attack at Robb Elementary was an abject failure and antithetical to everything we've learned over the last 2 decades since the Columbine massacre.
And new tonight, the mayor of Uvalde announcing Robb Elementary will be torn down and a new school will be built. A major ruling today from the Supreme Court saying religious schools cannot be excluded from Maine's tuition assistance program.
It's a 6-3 ruling. What it means is parents can now use vouchers to send their kids to public or private schools. And Chief Justice Roberts wrote that not allowing religious schools to be part of the program is, quote, discrimination against religion. There was also emotional testimony today in D.C. from top election officials in Georgia and Arizona, focusing on former President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The committee says Trump's pressure on state officials led to harassment